Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be ranking the best Final Fantasy supporting characters. We're going to do the top 10 list, and so we're going to get right into that list. Number 10 on that list is Steiner from Final Fantasy IX. Steiner's an important part of the story. He's serious, he's funny, he relates well to the characters, and he's an important character moving forward. Part of this game, you actually take control of Steiner when you're trying to get back to Alexandria with Garnet, and he is a powerful character. He is a great one overall, and he just adds a lot to the story. So number 10 is Steiner. Number 9 is going to be Joseph from Final Fantasy II. He's the first character that joins your party that in the history of Final Fantasy that dies. So for that reason alone, I'm putting Joseph in on that list. He was there for a brief period of time. He goes in with you into that cave. He is killed, and they reference it in Final Fantasy IX when you get the summon Ramuh. That story is of Joseph. Number 8 on my list from Final Fantasy VI is Edgar. Edgar is important because he is one of the top guys in the Returners in the Resistance against the Empire. And he's got the castle. He is King of Figaro. His weapons are awesome. His skill set is pretty cool. The fact that you can use the drill, the chainsaw, things like that. And he's pretty vital when you get to the second half of the game, or the World of Ruin. He is the third one you get. And so Edgar ranks up there at number 8. Number 7 from Final Fantasy IV is Kain. Kain was almost as important to the story as Cecil was. Kain goes back and forth. He's sometimes controlled by Golbez, sometimes he's not. He goes back and forth, and at the end you don't really, he kind of just goes away from everyone because he doesn't feel that he's worthy to be part of them. So that's why Kain ranks up there. He's also the logo for the original Final Fantasy IV, which is pretty cool, and that just kind of gives him a few extra points. Number 6 on that list from Final Fantasy VII is Cid. For the primary reason, at one point in the game, Cid has to lead your party when Cloud and Tifa leave. That's the reason why Cid's there. He's got some important parts of the story, the rocket, the tiny Bronco. So Cid ranks up there. Of all the Cids, he's probably my favorite because he seems very carefree with the smoking and things like that. Number 5 on the list is Celes from Final Fantasy VI. The second half of the game, when you start in the World of Ruin, she is your party. She starts off, and then she starts to recruit. You get Sabin, then you get Edgar, then you get Setzer. So without Celes, you don't really... the story can't progress without her. So she was an important... The second half of the game almost becomes like her redemption. Number 4 on my list is from Final Fantasy IX is Vivi. Vivi is such an integral part of the story at the beginning of Final Fantasy IX, and even throughout other times of the game when you have to go back to the Black Mage Village. Vivi is important. So with him being so important to the story, he ranks high up there, and he's got great relationships with other characters, Zidane, Garnet, Steiner. The two of them team up together to perform powerful sword attacks throughout the game. So Vivi ranks up there pretty high on number 4. Number 3 is Bosch, and the reason why Bosch is on there of all Final Fantasy XII characters is the game originally was supposed to be around about his story. He is basically been exiled. The rumor was he was executed because he is supposedly the person that killed the king before that triggered the events of Final Fantasy XII. When you find him, he's a shell of himself, and then when he becomes part of your party, then you start going through and trying to get Ash to reclaim her throne. So Bosch is important to the story, and the fact that he was originally supposed to be the main protagonist, and Square Enix, I guess, went away from that for whatever reason. I rank Bosch up there just because he's a little bit more likable than Balthier. Number 2 on my list from Final Fantasy X is Yuna. That could have been Yuna's game as much as it was Tidus's game. Yuna is, 1, she's the logo, and 2, without Yuna, you don't have Final Fantasy X-2. So Yuna was a major supporting character, and the love story between her and Tidus adds a lot to that. So she ranks right up there. But number 1 on my list is, in my opinion, the coolest supporting character in Final Fantasy history. It is Auron from Final Fantasy X. Auron shows up, and he is one badass. He is the guardian of guardians. He is the guardian to Yuna's father. He was there with Jecht for Braska's pilgrimage, and Auron. The fact that Auron is just so cool. He walks around with that big jug. He just adds so much to the game and the story, and the fact that he's dead makes him rank really, really high. So he is number 1 on my top 10 supporting characters in the Final Fantasy series. Until next time, leave your comments below.